Hey, it's Coach Justin from Ultimate Baseball Training. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're going to be going over 7 keys to having a great 2021 baseball season. So if that interests you, if you're ready to take your game to the next level this year, then I'm excited for you. I'm excited to share these 7 things with you. Without further ado, let's get started. So the first key to having a great season in 2021, ignore the noise. And what I mean by that is control the controllables. This is something that I always say, but I think it's more important now than ever because let's face it, we're living through crazy times right now, right? And you really have no idea what's in store this year. Things could look a little bit different this year, right? The season, it could be postponed a little bit. Your tryouts might look a little bit different. Opening day might look a little bit different. Practice might look a little bit different. You might have games that are rescheduled or postponed or canceled. There's going to be a lot of changes, and there's going to be a lot of noise out there, especially with the news and with social media. There's plenty of things going on to distract you if you allow that distraction into your life. So my recommendation is keep your blinders on, control the controllables, and don't worry about the rest, okay? So there's plenty of things that are in your total control. You might not have control over what your practice looks like or what your season ends up looking like or how many games you play or whatever, but you do have control over your sleep. You do have control over your nutrition. You do have control over your grades and if you're getting your schoolwork done. You have control over whether or not you're being a student of the game, outside of practice. If you're going online, you're watching videos like this, you're reading articles, you're watching games on TV and being a student of the game and learning. You have control over what you do at home. If the gyms are closed, you can still work out at home. You can still buy a net and hit in your basement or in your backyard or whatever. So there's no excuse. Ignore the noise this year if you want to make it a great season. The second key I want to share with you, do your best. Do your best. In other words, compare yourself to you. Always be constantly striving to surpass yourself. Sometimes, especially if you have lofty goals, sometimes you're a hard worker. You might already be a hard worker, right? And sometimes we fall into this trap of comparing ourselves and our efforts to those around us. So you might say, well, this guy didn't show up early to hit an extra bucket of balls today. I'm doing great because I beat him to practice today. Or you might be the fastest kid on your team and you might be able to coast it during sprints and still beat everybody by 10 yards. And if that's the path that you choose to take, just know that there are other guys out there that are faster than you across the country and they're actually running hard in their sprints. And so just because you're working hard, just because you're achieving some things compared to the people that are in your proximity, that doesn't mean on the grand scheme of things that you're really up to very much, right? And so what I encourage you to do is always be striving to surpass yourself and don't get complacent. Don't compare your efforts to just the people that are on your team or the people that are in your league or in close proximity to you. Because if you have lofty goals, right, by definition, if you want to achieve things that are above average, you're going to have to be willing to do the things that average players are not willing to do. So I just encourage you, it's easy if you're a hard worker to start kind of cooling it because everybody around you is cooling it as well, and maybe you just need to be one step ahead of them and you think that you're working hard. But the reality is, don't compare yourself to the people that are right there in your circle. Compare yourself to you, and the next time you're thinking you're working hard at practice or hard in the weight room, ask yourself, compared to what? Compared to what? Compared to the other guys on your team, or compared to the players just in your little league, or compared to everyone in the country, compared to the players at the next level, compared to professional players, the 1% of the 1%, right? Compared to what? So always do your best. Don't just do better than the people that are around you. The third key is this: address your weaknesses. Look, what's the one thing that you really struggled with last season, or what you're currently really struggling with right now? What's the one thing that's holding you back? You know what it is. Something just popped into your head, right? It could be you're struggling with curveballs. It could be you're struggling with the outside pitch. It could be you're struggling with backhand ground balls or your throwing accuracy. But what is that one thing? Let's address it this season. Let's work to get better at it this season instead of just constantly sweeping it under the rug, right? Because the reality reality is you're only as strong as your weakest link. So let's do a good job at raising that baseline this season. If your baseline is currently here and all of a sudden now your weakest link is up here, you're going to be a very improved ball player at the end of the season. Okay, so let's raise that baseline this year. Let's address some of those weaknesses instead of just sweeping it under the rug. And really, if you want some real accountability right now, think about, okay, what is one weakness you really need to work on this year? And leave a comment down below. Is it, again, the outside pitch, the inside pitch? Is it something with your defensive play? Is it something with your approach? What's one thing that you can really improve upon this year? Leave a comment down below for some real accountability. And while you're down there, be sure to smash that like button. If you're enjoying this video so far, I would really appreciate that. Let's move on to the next tip. The next key is make small daily improvements. So I want you to think about 1% better every single day. You know, it's easy to get carried away in, you know, I hope I do this season, or I hope that eventually one day I'll be able to do this, right? But I encourage you to take those lofty goals that you have and distill it down into, what can I do to get 1% better today? How can I improve today? And just imagine for a second, if you go through an entire season and you consciously make an effort to get better at a particular skill, just 1% better, not 20% better, 1% better every single day, each and every day, day in, day out, imagine how much better you're going to be at the end of the season. And then if you compound that over time, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, throughout your entire baseball career, if you truly do this, if you truly take what I'm saying and apply it, and you get 1% better every single day, you're going to be a transformed player. You're not going to be the same player that you are right now. So don't worry about what you're going to achieve 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Get 1% better today. Take care of business today, then do it again tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day. A great way to do this is set goals for practice, right? You want to work hard in every single area in practice, but set goals for, hey, if one of the areas I'm struggling with, back to the previous tip, if I'm really struggling with curveballs, what is my plan for getting 1% better at curveballs today? Maybe it's staying after practice and having coach throw me 3 buckets of balls of just strictly curveballs, and then on the 4th and 5th bucket, maybe, you know, he throws me fastball and curveball, mixes it up a little bit. Maybe I set up the curveball machine. Maybe I just, you know, stand in the bullpen when my teammates, pitchers, are throwing bullpens. Maybe I put a helmet on in there and I'm not, you know, swinging and trying to hit the ball. I'm literally just seeing what the curveball break looks like, whatever it is, but focus on getting 1% better every single day. That's going to help you really transform yourself as a ball player in 2021. Another thing I strongly recommend you do is keep a journal. So go get a little journal, keep it in your baseball bag, and use this as a tool to help you just gather your thoughts, put them on paper, and then later on, you know, your next game or whenever you're struggling next, you can go back to your journal and it'll help you stay in rhythm, and it'll help you get back on track. Now, this doesn't have to be a diary or anything like that. All you have to do is, you know, I would encourage you, keep it in your bag, and after every single at bat, if you're a hitter, it's awesome if you can chart what happened in that at bat. That's the best way to do this, but at a bare minimum, at least at the end of the game, you know, write down your thoughts. What did I do well today? How did I fail today? You know, what swing thoughts did I have going through my head that allowed me to achieve success on the field? If you think about, hey, today, you know, I crushed a double and I remember thinking about this particular thing, well, guess what? Wouldn't it be nice next game to be thinking about that particular thing again, right? So a journal is a great way to kind of keep everything going in stride and get back on track when you fall off. A 6th thing that'll really help you out this year is focus on the outcome you want, not what you're trying to avoid. With baseball being such a game of failure, it's easy to start dwelling on that failure, and it's easy to start trying to avoid failure instead of trying to achieve success. So what I encourage you to do with 2 strikes at the plate, don't tell yourself, don't strike out here. I hope I don't strike out here. Tell yourself, you know, put the ball in play, hit the ball hard somewhere, square it up, battle, compete, expand the zone, right? Positive things that you want to have happen. If you're a pitcher and, you know, you got a full count, don't say things like, don't walk this hitter, right? Don't do that. Say, locate a good pitch here, throw a strike here, right? If you're a shortstop, don't think about, man, don't let another ground ball get underneath your legs, right? Get between your legs. Think about, fielding the baseball cleanly and making the play and getting back in the dugout. So focus on the things that you want to have happen, because your brain does not hear the negative. So when you say things like don't strike out here, all your brain hears is strike out here. So anytime you use the word don't, replace that with, okay, stop worrying about what I don't want to have happen. What's the outcome I want to have happen? Focus on that. And the last key, last but certainly not least, stop and smell the roses. And what I mean by that is it's so important to have fun, and it's so important to enjoy the present moment, because the reality is your career goes by in a flicker. It'll be done before you know it. And there's so many people that would trade places with you in a heartbeat. Ask your dad right now if he would love to have another at bat or hit another home run and jog around the bases one more time, have one more home run trot, or be on the mound and face one more hitter, right? There are so many people that wish that they could go back to the exact spot that you're in right now. So I know that practice sometimes can get a little monotonous. I know sometimes the season can stretch and it can start to feel like it's starting to wear on you and it feels like a long season, but just sometimes you got to stop and smell the roses and realize, yes, I might be tired. Yes, I might be sore. Yes, I might be a little bit bored. I might be ready for my next sport or whatever the case may be, but it's so important to have fun and enjoy this present moment, because you're never going to get this moment back. So that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Do me a favor and hit that right now. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. That way you never miss any of our upcoming videos. And last thing, hitters, be sure to go download the free contact point checklist that I put together for you. It's going to help you make sure that your swing looks picture perfect at the point of contact, so that you can really maximize your bat speed and your power and your consistency at the plate. And it's 100% free, so click on the link down below in the description or in the comment section. Go download that right now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.